Hey everyone, welcome back to What the Flag. Again, the three of us are all in different parts of the world. I'm here in Chicago, Yaz, you're in Washington, and Kenny in London. So, look, I want to start right away because Yaz, for everybody who's just listening to this, is wearing her Everyone watches women's sports shirts as they do, fashion, fashion. But Yaz, you are freaking killing it in women's sports. You guys won last weekend against Tampa, making it into the next round of the playoffs. And honestly, we're going to get some highlights for all of you because the things that this girl does is bad. You do not want to be on the other side of the ball to Yaz.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Yeah, no, we just come off the back of playoff game one. We've got 2 weeks now. Well, not even 2 weeks. It's just under that. Until we play Pittsburgh in the semi-finals. So we that will be the conference championship between us and Pittsburgh. On the other side it is Minnesota versus St. Louis, which was a huge upset because I think a lot of people expected Cali War to be the team that were going against St. Louis. But Minnesota had an absolute game against them, so they'll be going up against St. Louis for the West Conference, and we're going up against Pittsburgh for the East on the 12th of July, which will be a great game. It'll be our third game against Pittsburgh this season. First game we lost to them when we were at home, and then when we went to their home, we beat them 19-22, I want to say the score was. It was a super close game. It was really, really good. They adjusted so well. I think we both did. The way we adjusted, the way they adjusted was brilliant. And then we play them on the 12th, and amazingly it's being streamed on ESPN Plus. So it will
Whoop,
be
whoop.
available to watch on, a format other than YouTube, which is amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Far be it from me, because I would never ever criticize you or anything you do at all.
Oh,
But
never,
but
never, never.
ever, I would never do that. But as a coach watching, cough cough, are you rising too high out of your stance, especially when you're pulling on some of your plays? Question mark.
Do you coach tackle? Because
Of course I do. What do you mean?
do you
What do you
coach tackle?
mean?
Oh yeah,
Sports is
I'm way
sports.
too high out my stance. I was watching my film back. I'm like, wow, I'm actually standing up. Bad. I'll work on it for next week, Coach
There
Connie.
we go. There we go.
Work on
Hey,
it.
look,
Yeah,
listen, I'm looking out for you. I don't want you on ESPN looking all,
yeah.
bent out of shape and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm
So,
sure. I'm sure.
I
Yeah.
said I would never criticize, but no, you're doing it's really amazing to see and to it's always that, I have that sense of with both of you. I could have the opportunity to kind of point at stuff and be like, oh, I know her, I know her, I know her. It's really cool, really, really
That's
cool.
me every time I see you on Instagram. I'm like, oh God, it's Kenny. I wonder if he's going to mention me in his story today.
No, 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 no,
Doesn't mention any of us.
no.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't mention anyone. No.
No, none of us exist. And Ken, like this is kind of a big day we're talking about here today on this Tuesday. Big day for you. A lot of work that you've been putting in as well.
Yeah, 1st of July,
Congratulations.
2025. Been working for, I think we worked it back. We started in April 2022, I want to say, working with Scottish Athletics, the Scottish National Governing Body for Athletics. Um, and they released their some two, three digital platforms, I guess, today for their Let's Go project, which is all about getting children and young people ages 5 to 12 basically into athletics. But it's just a proper massive celebration because it's literally been over 3 years of work and back and forth and creating and building and refining. Um, and it launched about 3.5 hours ago, and nothing's gone wrong yet. So it's not broken, which is good. Which is
No,
really
I
good.
know I've seen you work so hard on this over the years. So
Mm.
congratulations. It's super exciting time and to see something you put so much time and effort into come to fruition. Yeah, these big projects are very special.
Thank you.
I'm hopefully flying home today from Chicago. It's been another one of those. Phoebe weekends where it's just ridiculous. Um, I started in Philadelphia where I got to do a really cool commercial for C4 energy drink with Saquon Barkley, who is just phenomenal. And
Oh yeah,
he
no, the casual name drop. Oh, just got to do a commercial.
I need a compilation of all these, just the casual drops. Like, oh yeah,
No, but honestly, like
oh,
I can't wait to see it because there was a ton of us. I was one of many, but the concept behind it is really cool. It felt like I was at some kind of crazy career day. So yeah, that's kind of all I can say for now, but I'm really excited to see what the final product looks like. But super interesting. I had this really great kind of conversation with him about how it changed my mind in terms of how I thought about playing like different positions because we were talking about like I play, strong safety and tackle. And I was like, well, I get to be in control of the hit that way. I get to kind of be the hammer essentially. And he was like, that is not what's happening at all. He was like, I am in control. He's like, as a running back, he's like, I'm in control of exactly how you hit me, the angle you're going to take. I force you to go faster, slower. He's like, I'm the real one in control. And I was like, I'd never considered that
Man.
mentality of offense because you just think, yeah, defense, we get to be the ones that like make that impact. And he said, like, in all his years playing, that he can only think on two hands of hits that really like made him go, ugh, like, like kind of get snotted like that. I'm like, in all
Oh,
your whole life of playing, like on two hands, that's crazy.
oh,
Um,
I have the biggest smile on my face right now because somewhere in there is an analogy of my life with Phoebe, who thinks she's the hammer all the time, but actually, you know, yeah, there may things may be different, but hey,
it's
we'll
all about interpretation.
but it's interesting, isn't
perspective.
it? Because yeah, right, as a lot of defensive coaches, especially in tackle, will tell you, be the hammer, you deliver the hit, you're the ones that do it, and actually we on offense, we know that we dictate it, really, truly, but we let you think that because we have to let you, it's fine, it's all good.
I
That's
would
amazing, man.
disagree.
You
I,
disagree?
yeah, the only reason I say that is because I think in my career I've carried the ball one time in mixed adult contact, and I got this hit right, and I've never felt something like it, and I just remember like it wasn't too long after I think I was at Warriors training. I just went to Shiv and I was just like, I'm just gonna make sure I just make all of my blocks. Like I'm never gonna do that ever again because that really really hurt.
that was to
They just
your
came in my rib and I was like, oh my God, like you guys do this on a regular for fun? Like I'm never doing this again,
that
ever.
was that was you telling your running back that you would block for her as you
Mm,
go through. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'd
No,
never do it again.
sorry, to clarify, like, yes, you had the keys, but you weren't in control of the car. Like you
I
did it
like that
wrong. You
analogy.
did it.
But yeah, so
That's
then,
you, sir. So
yeah, it
I
was
have to add to the whole. What was he like? What was it? Did he have an
Yeah.
lovely.
entourage? Did he? What car was he driving? Is he a
Did he have
Nike
really
guy?
cool
I didn't.
cleats on? Because he has a really cool cleat collection. Like, tell us everything.
He was really lovely. His entourage was very lovely as well. And like they're all his boys. So they all just like grew up
Mhm.
like playing together, all went to like Penn State together. And yeah, it was just he was really, really nice. Funny. And then went to Chicago and yesterday we had the Chicago Bears ran a Nike 7 on kind of it's like a camp tournament day. Which was really interesting to see. It was the first time that they'd actually done boys and girls at the same time. So the boys end up doing tackle side, the girls end up doing flag side, but it's, four different schools and the Bears are really great at making sure they're intentionally reaching out to like lower socioeconomic, areas and giving people those opportunities. They're so keen on, like equity and like fair is not always equal is like one that they say and which I really like that kind of concept, but it was some of the stories from, some of the girls, one of the girls that had been in their league, it was the first time that she had been playing in the Bears league, ended up getting a college scholarship to go play flag football, first in her family to go to college, and just the nicest girl ever. And you think of like how sport truly can just make such a difference in someone's life. And to see them yesterday, so you do like a bunch of drills and then they play 7-on-7. I got to have like a little 10-minute kind of circle talk with the girls as well and see what they want to do, what they're passionate about. And then we did a tour of Hallis Hall. And, I've been really fortunate to be in quite a few NFL facilities. And I would say that the Bears, as a like all encompassing, like just looking at what they have, is by far the best. I think Vegas would have been a close second, but the Bears, Hallis Hall is phenomenal. Like
So
their
is that
indoor
the is that a practice facility? Sorry, Phoebe, is that a practice facility,
everything.
or you're
So
even better than the new Bill stuff?
from the facility to the strength conditioning, the Walter Payton Center, like where their indoor is, their training fields. Honest,
Wow.
it's better than anything I've ever seen. Like I was so impressed by what they.
Yeah. So I wasn't just shouting that just because it's the Bills and it's you, but actually, like the Bills facilities have been new built and are amazing. So for you to say that is really
Yeah.
something. That's huge.
Yeah, and like where their strength and conditioning area is, they have the big garage doors that open onto the practice fields. And on the backside of that, they have the indoor turf, but it's even bigger with the projectors that pull down so you can put walkthrough up on the walls to be able to do your walkthrough. Like, and
Wow.
the Bills have that, but it's, maybe a 10-yard, 15-yard turf. This
Yeah.
is huge. And then the indoor bubble, like their indoor facility is like wood from Sweden. Like, I mean, you walk in there, the Walter Payton Center it just smells like you're in a sauna, like that, that wood smell. It's
Nice.
beautiful. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was such an honor to be with Gus Silva, who, runs all of the,
Gus, Gus,
yeah,
Gus.
he's just phenomenal. And it was really cute because, we just had all of our girls' leagues and his passion. He just, unfortunately he wasn't feeling great and he wasn't able to fly out. And he's like, I'm just so sorry that I couldn't be there for the girls. I gave the girls my word that I'd be there for the finals and I couldn't make it. And you just think someone who like is so passionate about the sport, he's someone that just truly lives it. So yeah, it was great to see him in his element and be able to do all of that. And it really kind of got me thinking because he came from a wrestling background, and then he got into football that way. It really made me start thinking about coaching, the different ways that we coach as well, and kind of
It's so
different.
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna sorry, just quickly to take two steps back and super quick. And yeah, it's something I noticed with Phoebe, but maybe potentially you as well. Like when is there anyone that you would say you get starstruck around? Like or is there anyone that you think
Me, I'm joking.
yeah, so like so Phoebe's like it's so casual. Oh yeah, me and Saquon was just chilling, talking about tackling and being it and whatever. Like, but I think because Phoebe, you don't really get starstruck, or do you? Or do you?
No, I don't think everyone's just people. I think that's like everyone is, and that's because my mindset is always like we are all just a series of the choices that we make. So
Mhm.
this person made these choices to get them there. Like we're all built from the same cloth, but the choices that Yaz makes, the choices that you make, the choices that I make, whoever that may be, that's what leads us to get to where we are. So we're all humans.
And is that part of what is that part of because like you've literally there are people you've been around like casual day to day that some people would absolutely lose their minds if they were. I'm talking Josh Allen, like but not just you were with Andy Reid, was that early this year, last year, maybe, and I'm just like,
Yeah, Super
that's
Bowl.
not bad. Mike Carlson, my favorite, like those are all like absolute legends, but you're just like, oh, they're is that part of what helps you to be able to, I don't know, function in those moments? Not that you shut down, but
I guess I think you can appreciate what someone does and have respect for what they do.
Hmm.
But I think for me, if I were to be a fangirl over anyone, that immediately changes our relationship and gives this like, you're here, I'm here.
Yeah.
And like I don't
Ooh.
necessarily see, I think we're both experts in our own worlds. It may
Hmm.
be you're on the field, you could be in business, whatever. But like I know that I'm really great at what I do. I know that Yaz is really great at like you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I think that for me, it's always about like, how do I position myself? How do I present myself? Same with we talk about it with the players, like how you are kind of presenting yourself is like the energy you give is the energy you receive, right? So for
Yeah.
me, I think it's super important that I can definitely be like, wow, I really loved what you did here. Like, I know this is gonna, I'm not name dropping it, and I'm not trying to be like that. But okay, I met Stephanie McMahon, right? Like worked with her daughter. And I was like, she has done so much for the sport of WWE. Like I can find you inspiring, and I can think that you're amazing and like see what you've built, but I'm still going to be me. Like,
Yeah.
and that's my core. Like, I have to be authentic to who I am all the time, because otherwise it's like, well, which version of me are you getting? Am I talking to someone who's a fan? Am I talking to someone who's, interested? Like, what does that look like?
So that, I mean, that's really an interesting notion of what it is to be a fan, because it does, I don't know, because I think kind of picking apart a little what you just said, like, I think what you're saying, if I may translate a bit, you're saying it's possible to be a fan, but not necessarily being a fan doesn't mean you put yourself under someone. You can still be who you are and be confident in and with all of that. Yeah, no, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think like I'm a fan of the NFL. Like I love the NFL. I love watching it. Like I'm passionate about it, right? I'm passionate about all that stuff. But
Mm,
I I don't think it changes who I am. I think I'm
mm.
still I still know who I am and stick on that line. Um
Mm.
and I have to
Yes.
I'm reversing because I have to shout out to Rob Curran, who's been with me and stuck with me for these past like 2 days. He's the head coach at Geneseo flag like college, representing today. Whoop whoop for flag football, but he's been stuck with me and he's been coaching with me and he's
Good,
probably so sick of me. So I know he listens to these. We appreciate it. And yeah, shout out for being amazing and supportive. And we had a chocolate cake shake last night. Let me
Oh,
tell you, my life has been changed. It was literal like chocolate milkshake with actual chocolate cake in it. And I don't know if I'll ever have a shake the same again. The
was
end.
it like the kind of like Bruce Bogtrotter chocolate cake from
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. All in there. Like where like the chocolate frosting was like stuck to the inside of the cup.
wow,
Life changer, life
the
changer.
dreams continues.
Yes, is there anyone that you would absolutely lose it around?
I don't know. I think I'd
Or,
be
or have you ever? Let's go that way first. If you go backwards first, maybe.
no. Like if I've met someone famous, the only person I've ever lost it in front of is Phoebe every time she walks through a public space. So I'm
Yeah.
really trying to impress
Y'all just embarrass me all the
her.
time.
It was my favorite part about traveling with Phoebe actually is like getting into public spaces with her and being like, oh my God, is that Phoebe
Honestly, every
Shelter?
time. You guys are so embarrassing.
That is real. That is real.
What
But
about
I
you,
don't
Ken?
I don't know if I'd ever no, I don't think I would. I don't know, because I think I'd be like perpetually worried about embarrassing myself. So it's just probably just easier to just be normal.
Mm.
Like weird, it's a really weird one. I met Hugh Jackman once, like when I was younger,
As in
That's a
Wolverine, Hugh
big
Jackman.
name.
as in Wolverine. But it was
You didn't
because
you didn't
I
do
was
did you do the claws? Did you like just
no, we just said hi because basically it was like 3 in the morning and the hotel we were staying in like had a evacuation and he was staying in the same hotel. So we were just casually just standing outside and we were just like, this is a bit annoying because because it was like 3 in the morning and there was like a fire alarm that went off because basically the hotel burnt the toast and like the whole hotel got like evacuated because of it. Yeah, and that was it. And we just stood there outside. He was like, "This is a bit annoying," and he was really lovely. And there were a few people talking to him, and that was about it.
Okay.
That's hilarious. No, I think it's really interesting because it's not I think when I say like lose it in front of someone, it's not necessarily that you would pass out or whatever, but it's like it just do for me it's comedians, right? So but it's not that I lose but I just start trying to be funny around comedians. Does that make sense? Like
Oh,
so
you don't do
if
that anyway?
I feel like you are
I
dad
see
jokes
no,
101
no, no, but
anyways,
I'm actually funny. That's my point. I'm actually funny. I'm not trying to be funny. It's just
actually.
an actual. Um,
Verified by who? Sorry.
Yeah.
good, good, good. We're gonna. No, okay, but just staying on the comedian note just for a bit. Um, I saw a clip. There's a clip on Instagram doing around or whatever. Leslie Jones, one of I think she's an actor. She's done. I need to look up. Ghostbusters is the one that springs to mind, but she's done a lot of different things. But she was talking on one of these chat shows about how she used to coach, right? And yes, there's in essence a comedy to what she's doing in the story she's telling. But basically, she's like she used to coach these kids. I think I don't know if the kids did or didn't win eventually, but basically, she used to cuss around the kids. And when I say cuss, I'm talking about the American cuss, like swearing and being quite direct. And she was just like, look, you can't talk to these kids like they're kids. You have to be straight up and down because the clip is funny. But it made me want to bring up the topic of kind of coaches that you've been around. And specifically for me, it's a personal thing, but like swearing or quote unquote foul language when coaching. Does it have a space? Is it okay? Or should that get left when we get to a practice field? Adult, youth, men's, women's, the full scope.
I think I think it some coaches may make swearing their personality, like in terms of they some coaches associate swearing with being like stricter or harder or harsher or more enthusiastic.
Are you
Um
gonna name any names?
in
Hmm. Hmm.
no. Uh, in my experience, like personally, I found that around men's football there is more swearing. Um, I think that yeah, and I think male coaches are more likely to use their language more frivolously. Like in my personal experience, I think as well because they use a lot of like analogies and stuff. And there's some coaches, especially in the Britball world, who have been around football a really long time, and maybe don't edit their language to the generations that they're sort of coaching. So if
Okay.
they've been coaching for 30 years or playing for 30 years, and then they've transitioned into a coach, they'll find a lot of the people that they're now coaching or the people they're coaching with are people that they used to play with. So for them, they speak like that because they've always spoken like that, and that's just sort of become their
Hmm.
character as a coach. Um, and it's fine. It's okay.
You're okay with it?
If that's how they coach, that's how they coach. Personally, I'm not as a coach myself, I'm not too much of a swearer. Um,
Hmm.
like the occasional one may slip out, but it's not like I'm going to intend like I'm intending to go out and swear. Like for me, I try and keep it out of my language because I think you anything you say I think can kind of get either misconstrued or lose its meaning the minute you start dropping like F-bombs and
Hmm.
I feel if you want to emphasize something, there's better ways to do it with your vocabulary to come across to people.
Well, and to that very point, how about what if I was to, because maybe it's the teacher in me speaking, but also, yes, you're a teacher as well. Like, if I was to challenge swearing as a lack of control, right? So it's like if you're in certain settings, you are able to function
Mm.
to quite a high standard, depending on the setting, without swearing. So why do you take off those guards? Why do you let that? And I don't know, for Phoebe, also like in the NFL, I'm sure like, you know, language is language, but NFL national programs, is it different in flag to tackle? There's not that much coaching in flag yet, it's developing, but
I think it's totally like to Yaz's point, I think it's totally a like individual element, right? Like who you are is ultimately going to be who you're portraying on the field. So there's coaches in the NFL. Like I was always amazed by Sean McDermott, who he never really swore, he never really yelled. It would be very unusual for him to yell. But then you have other coaches who are always yelling and then maybe off the field they're super soft spoken. But there's all that like juxtaposition. Same in flag. I've had coaches who have sworn. I mean, and sometimes I think about it from some of our players are like we have some of the youth players that join us who are 16, 17. And for me, I'm not really a swearer to Yaz's point about like I think there's elements and there's times that kind of call on, like if you're in a team huddle, you're a player, you're in the team huddle and you're like, we're about to
Good,
go into this
good.
huge, you might drop a swear word, but it's not, I think there's ways to portray how you're feeling. I think the coaches I have worked with in flag that do swear, they really didn't know what they were doing. And they just thought that if I swear a lot, that's going to get people hyped.
Yeah.
So they thought that was their way. They weren't able to have any answers to the questions.
Which
So
is, and
essentially,
I mean,
my
because of course we're not, we're not so, because to be honest, like it's not, we're not talking about like being abusive to someone, like, just to make that
No.
clear. It's not about like, so it's not directed at it, but it's just, and I think it's to that point where it's like, hey, I need a way. I don't have any in my mind. It's like you don't have any better way of getting your message across,
Yeah.
and so you resort to this, right? But
It's
it
like a
feels like a
segue to passion. Like it's like sometimes it can be how they like show they're passionate or like if they really want to express something, it's like for lack of being able to, I don't know, like be able to like express it in other lingo. I think it shows sometimes more of an absence than it does a addition of something.
that's a very big statement. An absence, it shows more of an
So,
absence
I
rather
said,
than.
I said sometimes.
No, sorry, I was processing that. I think that's a. Yeesh, I'm putting on a t-shirt. Shows more lost. No, that's so. What if? And I kind of like last question on this. Like, if you show up at one of my practices and it's like zero tolerance, players, coaches. What do we say to coaches that may struggle? Players that struggle in that, I don't accept it. I'm like, no, it's not allowed. Adult players, youth players, like whatever. Just don't. There's no need for it. We don't use that language. It's offensive. But is that okay, or do I need to calm down? Basically, is my question.
You just need to tell the coaches not to react. I think swearing is often a consequence of reacting to a situation as opposed to processing said situation and then thinking about what you actually want to say. If you sat back and you actually thought about what you wanted to say, then you probably wouldn't need the swear words. A lot of times, swear words are just used for emphasis. It's not necessarily because, like, you know, you you have anything more important to say or what you're saying becomes more important. It's
Hmm.
just to exaggerate your point or to, to say how hard you want to hit someone or to say how much you want to beat someone or to say how irritating it is when someone's not doing what you want or, to prove how much someone wants something. There's usually some element of like emphasis that they're trying to
Got
give to.
across. It's
So
really
it's
interesting.
it's more of a like think about what you want to say first and then say it like don't react to the situation, process the situation first.
I 1,000% agree with that, Yaz. I just think that if you're thinking, okay, when would someone use that language? It was, hey, it was a drill, a game, a bad play, whatever. I still feel like for a lot of flag coaches that they're saying that because they don't actually know how to tell you what was wrong. So I think they
Mm.
could process, but I just don't think that they would be able, they just look at it as a blank slate, like that wasn't good. Okay. But what wasn't good? And if they were able to word that and like dissect what was happening in that like, you know, full time speed motion, I think that that would change what they were saying. But I think because they can't tell you what was bad, they're just like, oh, that was whatever. Because also, someone drops a ball, you're not going to be like, hey, you should have caught that. Like, cool, everyone knows you should have caught that. But you can see that, right? You can dissect that as a coach. If it's poor angle, your back pedal, or maybe your cut at the top of your route, like because you don't know what it was, it just gets blanket statement across it. And then nobody gets better from that statement.
Yeah. No, I agreed.
Super interesting. I think I was expecting you both, at least one of you, to be like, no, flat, no, no place for it. But you haven't said that, so I think that's some pause for thought for me there. It's so interesting.
And I think on that pause, I think there's always going to be ways for us to look to get better, ways for us to
Hmm.
improve as a sport, flag, tackle, whatever that may be. But if you've got coaches that maybe you think you like swearing, you don't like swearing, it gets you hyped up, it gets your mindset off, let us know, because that is a wrap for today. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. We'll see you next week for more What the Flag.